Beautiful.
My song and dance number. Give them a thumbs up.
Thank you.
Thank you. 10,000 hours, the video said that it takes to perfect your craft. And the video was talking about athletes and winning or losing and the practice it takes to be the best at what you do and to be on that podium and win the gold, the bronze, or the silver. So when we think of ourselves as spiritual athletes, I thought about that 10,000 hours. 10,000 hours is about 417 days. 417 days. This time that we're in with this situation, with this virus outbreak around the world, I equate that to the big game for spiritual athletes. This is the big game. This is what we practice for. We've talked about practicing. We talk about daily meditation. And it really is just talk until we get to something like this, to a situation where there's a lot of information, tons of hype, people talking about it. It's all over social media. You cannot get away from it these days unless you turn off and just sit at home in the quiet. And then you have to deal with your own thoughts. So when something big like this happens, it is our daily practice, those 10,000 hours that we practice over and over and over again, every year of our lives, that keeps us at peace and inner knowing about what it is for us to do now. This is where the rubber hits the road. And it's easy, as we've talked about before, to just think that daily meditation is not important. And that we not do it a particular day because we don't feel like it. In the video, it talked about our discomfort. So for some, making ourselves meditate is discomfort. Because we have to do without going to bed earlier, getting up earlier, something. We have to change something in order to discipline ourselves to be spiritual athletes. So that when the big game comes, like it's just come, we are ready. And not just ready for ourselves, but right now, we are needed to be beacons to the world. We're needed to be beacons. Even if your serving as a beacon looks like you just walking about the world, going about your business peacefully, in harmony, in knowingness about what is yours to do, and being not just okay, but being good now. Some people just need to feel your energy right now. Right now. They need to hear it in the words you say. They need to see it in the way you show up. They need to read it in your Facebook post, whether you're on Twitter or Instagram or wherever you show up. People are affected by your energy. You don't have to tell them that you're anxious. You don't have to tell them that you're worried about what's going on. And it doesn't mean you're not cautious. It doesn't mean that you now have some added protocol to keep you and your family safe and all those you love and come into contact with. It just means that you show up with spiritual protection and strength and energy that calms people in your presence. This is what we practice for. So many people are all over all the information. And yes, I'm looking up information. And yes, I'm careful about whose information I take in and what I trust. And I look at more than one thing, and then I triangulate all that information and decide what is right for me. And I let all the other stuff go. And I know that as long as I am at peace with where I am now and with the information I've taken in, then I'm good. I'm good. Spending those 10,000 hours affirming health and vitality when you don't worry about your health and vitality gets you to the point where there's a virus outbreak and you can still affirm that you are vibrantly healthy and full of vitality every single day. I talk to my immune system all the time, every day, especially when I'm feeling strong. Especially when I'm feeling strong. So that now, when there's something going on, and there could possibly something in the air, my immune system knows there's nothing different we have to do. Because you're ready. You're ready. Spiritual practice makes you ready for whatever goes on. We're here. We're here now. And so if we fail to practice, then when the rubber hits the road, we're not prepared to hit the road as it's being presented to us. We're in it. And it's harder to garner your strength and your power and to embrace it and express it if you haven't done it all along. It's hard to shore it up when you need to shore it up. If you're not already in contact with what that feels like, what it sounds like, if you affirm it so often that it just rolls off your tongue. And you affirm it with ease and confidence. Ease and confidence. You know, when life gets real and your money's low, it's hard to affirm abundance. It's hard to see it. When your outer circumstances are saying something different. But if you affirm it all along, especially in those times when you're feeling abundant, then it helps you in those times where lack and limitation seems to be rearing its ugly head. You got to be ready. If you want peace. So many people are not experiencing peace right now because directly or indirectly, the virus is affecting people in a lot of different ways. People's jobs are impacted. It has nothing to do with whether or not they're sick, but because events are now being canceled, there are a lot of people who are not working, or are working less, and they're worried about their families and their livelihood. Today's daily word was perfect for these circumstances. Because it talked about how we pray for others. And this is a time where those of us who are prayed up who are spiritual athletes, who are strong in body, mind, and spirit, can pray for others. To see it rightly. See things rightly. Knowing that there are things going on in the world, but that we know that God stands under all things. And that divine life is divine life always, always, always. And that we affirm life for them. We affirm abundance for those whose jobs have been impacted. We affirm health and vitality for health workers right now. I had to have blood drawn yesterday. And every professional in that building looked like they were short of having a hazmat suit on. They had the mask on, they had the flip down mask here in case somebody were to sneeze or cough in their face. They had long sleeves on, and then they had the gowns on, and the woman who was taking care of me said, I'm so warm. She said, I feel like from head to toe, I'm just covered up, just to be safe. So she was uncomfortable all day long. But she's got to protect herself.
It seems like it. It seems like a big protection.
And so in these times of stark reality, we need to remember. We need to remember what's really going on, what is always going on, who and what we are. This is the big game. People are getting ill. People are afraid. People are isolated. People who suffer from anxiety, have more anxiety, have heightened anxiety these days. I talked to my neighbor yesterday, and he said he's generally a germaphobe. And now he's really, really, really anxious about germs. And he said it's all he thinks about. Is what he's coming into contact with on a regular basis. And so it's in those times that we need to show up for people. We need to be the light, be the beacons, be the ones who remember, and share that energy, that spiritual confidence, that spiritual strength with everybody. Like I said, it's not always about what you say, it's how you show up. Shored up from the time you wake up in the morning, remembering who and what you are, so you can go out and be the strength people need. Be the strength they need. And know what it is you need to do for your family and loved ones. And if you need to change anything, what do you change? And be confident that the changes you're making are right for you. And to respect everybody else's needs to perhaps do something different. And love all of them, everybody, including yourself, right where you are. Right where you are. This is what we practice for. This is when the 10,000 hours, the daily meditation comes in. That is our practice as spiritual athletes. That's what enables us to express the divinity that we are. Unfailingly, for ourselves and everyone else, Because most of this is about knowing for ourselves what's right. What's right. Taking in what you hear. Discerning what is right for you. Being at peace with it. Being at peace with it. And helping those around you be at peace as well. Maybe more than anything else, we need peace right now. Within our body, minds, hearts, and souls. We're the ones who are called. We're the ones. "417 days. I don't think I've ever gone 417 days without missing and haven't missed a day. It's a long time. It's over a year. It's a long time. How many of us can practice our spiritual craft to that extent? That takes it to a new level for me. It's like Olympic spiritual athlete. Yeah. Something to think about. It's all within us to do and to accomplish. But are we that tuned in? Are we that ready? Are we that persistent? Of practice, spiritual practice. What would you want in your life? Imagine how it might change how you move through the world if you spent 417 days straight, not missing meditation. I know how I feel when I've gone a month or two straight without missing. What if I never missed? How would you move through the world? And how would the world respond to your energy? I think the changes would be profound. And then we have the capacity to be what the world needs in challenging times. In challenging times. We don't know how long this is going to go on. We don't know how many people are going to get sick. We don't know how many people's lives are going to be affected directly or indirectly by this virus. And so we need to be strong, be confident. Perhaps for a very long time. Be the beacon for a very long time. For ourselves and for others. Think about that. Think about what you're bringing to the world in these challenging times. Challenge yourself, perhaps, to step it up. Step up your practice so that you can be the beacon that you need to be, that you want to be. Let's take this in meditation. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Just relax. Letting yourself fall into that space where you hear the still small voice, where your awareness of the divine is heightened. Place from which all strength, all power, all vitality, all knowingness, all wisdom and knowledge comes from. Just let yourself be there. And as we sit in this space, this sacred space, we begin to see things rightly around the world. We feel gratitude for healing, for continued health and vitality, for those who are unaffected, for healing and comfort and care, for the right medicines, for hospitalization if needed, for all those whose bodies are suffering right now. We see it rightly. Knowing with confidence that just as the daily word said, that we are all children of God. With divine life coursing through our veins, expressing in every cell of every body. And knowing that there is no time in space, in spirit. We affirm that we are one body, one healthy, vital body. Expressing divine health in life. Knowing that the highest and best for each individual is now at work in their lives. That there is goodness and mercy and comfort. That there is peace for those who are experiencing fear. There's peace for those who are anxious. There's clarity for those who are confused and overwhelmed. affirm that we are the light. And this light is infinite. It cannot be contained by walls or distance. We are boundless beings, sending our love and energy, our strength and our power around the planet. Continue to breathe deeply. Breathe deeply. Knowing that you have spiritual confidence, unfailing confidence in the power of love and spirit. And so as we inhale together, inhale, exhale, we affirm our power and strength. And as we continue to breathe deeply, we affirm and know that we are one life, one breath, one love, one humanity. And we step forward now in that energy, ready to be beacons in the world. Every moment of every day. And so it is. Amen.